Pastor Bob Barker with thechurchcoach.com. And today we're dealing with the 8 paths into people's hearts. And we're using the word reaching as the acronym. And so let's get started with the next lesson. C is for common interest. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 19 through 23, it says, "Even though I am free man with no master, I have become a slave to all people, to bring many to Christ. When I was with the Jews, I lived like a Jew, to bring the Jews to Christ. When I was with those who follow the Jewish law, I too lived under that law. And even though I am not subject to the law, I did this so I could bring to Christ those who are under the law. When I am with the Gentiles who do not follow the Jewish law, I too live apart from that law, so I can bring them to Christ. But I do not ignore the law of God. I obey the law of Christ. When I am with those who are weak, I share their weakness, for I want to bring the weak to Christ. Yes, I try to find common ground with everyone." Hear that? Yes, I try to find common ground with everyone, doing everything I can to save someone. I do everything to spread the good news and share in its blessing. And so, this is a very powerful scripture telling us to find common interests with people. And I noticed when he said that I follow the law of Christ, he was saying the law of Christ is to find ways to get along with people. The law of Christ, to love people like you love like you love yourself. It's to love God and love people. This is the way of Christ. Not to judge people that they do this part or that part or do this completely correct. The point is, you're looking for ways to get along with people, to build relationship, to build connectedness so that you'll have a path into their heart. And common interest is one of the most powerful doors into people's lives. A common interest is the seed. You have common interest with people, and that is how you connect with them. When you visit with people, you will find there are common interests between you and them. And so you begin to visit with them and you talk to them, and they'll mention to you they like football or they like basketball or the car show that just came to town a few days ago. And that one particular car, oh wow, yes, or that motorcycle or whatever it was. That's a common interest. It gets you visiting and talking. Maybe a new movie or some clothes that you see that you both like, or a purse or their shoes or whatever seems to be interesting to people. Take the time to visit with people and talk about common interests. That's how conversation gets started. Like I said, it's the seed to conversation and ultimately the seed to bridge a relationship. So find common interest, and once you get on a subject, stay on that subject. You just stay there and visit and linger. Don't be in a hurry to leave, because you may find out that once you're off that subject that you no longer have anything common anymore to talk about. You're like, and you all feel weird. You're like, okay, nice, how's the weather today? You know what? The point is that you stay on it and let stuff come to you and just visit with them and whatever it is. If they talk about tennis, talk about it. Sometimes it's something you know about. Sometimes you just need to be the learner. Really, I've always been interested in that. Pastor Gene talked about how, he went to this cricket game and he was there watching it, and he began to visit with those who were sitting next to him from England. They began to explain the game to him. And he just became the learner. He built a relationship with them by being the learner. They were very interested in the game. He was a new person to the game, but he built a relationship by being the learner in the conversation. Find a common interest and build relationships with people. It's not that hard. Once you find something to talk about, don't interrupt, unless you're asking questions, being a learner or something. But don't switch the subject to something you like. It would have been silly for Pastor Gene to have said, talk about American basketball. They could care less. So the point is, you'll get your chance to talk about Jesus eventually, after you've taken the time to build a bridge of relationship. The problem in the church and with Christians is that we don't first build a bridge of relationship with people. You have to build a bridge, a strong bridge, before you can tell them, you better turn or you're going to burn. I mean, we jump to get right or get left. I know it's a joke, I'm teasing. I know we don't do that to people. But some people jump to other serious subjects like, you really shouldn't dress that way. That tattoo is, not that great. And before you have the bridge of relationship, after you have a bridge of relationship, you want to help some young lady how to dress, then fine, you can do so later on. But the point is that if you jump too quick and you don't listen enough and you don't build a relationship, you don't allow the seed of relationship, conversation, and common interest, then you'll just destroy any chance of relationship you have. Let it develop first. Common interests are the nutrients that allow for new relationships to grow. It gives you people sometimes time to talk without feeling pressure or overwhelmed. Common interests give ownership of the conversation to the other person. Now, I know that can make you feel kind of out of control, but that's okay. Just listen and let them have control. Common interests keep us focused on what is important to the other person, not what's important to us. Because you're not there yet. The only goal is to listen, build a relationship, and someday you'll be able to talk to them about Jesus. So, it's kind of like this. You need to get a chance, give them a chance to fall in love with you and your God. Date them for a while before you ask for them to marry you or a full commitment. You walked up to somebody and said, "Will you marry me?" They think you're crazy. We walk up and go, "Well, that dress, well, that tattoo, well, that attitude, well, those kind of words should not come out of mouth." You know what I'm trying to say? Start with common interests. It is important that you let them fall in love with you, with your people, with your church. Fall in love before you ask them for commitments. Just love on them. That even goes for people that get saved, start in your church. Give them a chance before you say, "You want to work in the nursery forever?" It's just a good thing to find common interests. Whether it's at life groups or circle groups, whether it's in the streets, whether it's in the supermarket, whether it's in your church, before or after church, you're just trying to get to know people. Wherever the process is, common interests are very powerful. If you don't know what to talk about their life. Talk about their job. People normally talk about their kids. Everyone likes to talk about their children, and you'll find common interests. Whatever the interests they have, this will build a strong bridge of relationship. This will make a way into their hearts and make it a whole lot easier to talk to them about salvation. They will respect you for taking the time to get to know them. And they will see something different in you that they will want in their own life. See, common interests cause people to see us as normal and acceptable. How do we use these common interests to reach people? As individuals, common interests are seeds to conversation. Look for opportunity everywhere. As you are becoming an impact player, an impact Christian, a soul-winning person, learn to use common interests as seeds to those conversations. For pastors, use this path to get to know people in the community. Everywhere you go, let them talk about themselves. Teach the people in your church these concepts of common interests. For community impact and outreach teams, use the interests to invite people to events on your flyers and your advertisement and your publicity. Show common things that people would be interested to. For marketing teams, look to get publicity out to people that have the interest of what you're looking for. So let's say you're talking about raising kids or family, or you're talking about dealing with tough times and those kinds. Look for people that are having those kind of issues in their life and advertise directly to them. Be smart about this. That's what all this is about. It works for individuals, it works for team leaders, it works for teams, it works for pastors, it works for churches. These 8 paths into reaching into people's hearts are very important, and common interest is one of the most powerful one of all.